This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen through the powers of the internet.
Hello!
Yeah, we're here to talk about gaming news like we do every single week, live on Facebook, live on Twitch, every single week at about 8 Central, somewhere around that. We got lives, you know.
Unless you went to go see Glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just fair.
It happens.
I had meatloaf.
It happens. You had meatloaf? How was it?
It was pretty good.
It was pretty good. We had meatloaf earlier this week at some really crappy restaurant, and it was way too spicy for the wife, at least.
Spicy meatloaf?
Yeah, it was like smoked paprika chipotle meatloaf, but it didn't mention any of those things in the... I'm like, how can you screw up meatloaf?
Exactly. My meatloaf is like, it's beef, ketchup. I do saute some onions.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Some garlic.
Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah.
Garlic breadcrumbs.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
See,
and that's about it.
It doesn't take a lot. I mean, you use like egg or anything like that.
Yeah, there's egg and a little milk.
Yeah, that works. We're not going to talk about cooking in this episode, but we could talk about it. But we're not going to. We're going to talk about gaming news because that's what we do. Starting off, and I'm gonna dance around this a little bit.
Sure.
Because I don't want to go into like the full details of it, but Gearbox has some lawsuits going on, specifically a lawsuit towards Randy Pitchford. And there's a lot of hearsay involved in this. So that's why I was saying I don't want to... I also want to keep it PG. Let's keep it PG.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind mentioning the allegations. The only thing about them is that if I was going to mention everything that's in this lawsuit, it would be that it's not just one lawsuit, by the way. Like, basically, Randy Pitchford, who is the CEO of Gearbox, Gearbox sued their former head lawyer or something like that. I think he was general counsel. His name's Callender. And then Callender countersued Randy Pitchford specifically and started saying a whole bunch of stuff. Just some weird things. You can use your imagination, women involved and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it gets oddly specific. I mean, the first part where it's like, okay, there's a bonus that Randy Pitchford took as like an advance for Borderlands 3. I'm assuming it's Borderlands 3.
That part's a little believable.
That's believable, but then it gets into the odd specifics of a USB drive and the contents of the USB drive. And yeah, that's where it gets to the point where you say, okay, well,
you better have some proof.
Yeah. These are some big allegations, and if there's proof of it, that's pretty damning. But
and what sucks about the court of public opinion, luckily this is like a gaming side of things, so the only people that are going to hear this news are nerds to begin with. But I mean, which one? It's not libel. Libel's written, right? Is it slander?
Slander. It's slander.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore. The $12 million, that's totally believable from a CEO. This is corporate America that we're talking about here. But the rest of it, you're just like, oh, it was on this one USB drive that he left at a steakhouse.
Oh,
what?
Here, that's the funny part, though. It wasn't even a steakhouse, dude. It was medieval times. And I
thought it was a steakhouse.
No, it was medieval times. And as a goer, as a fan of medieval times, and as corny as that is, I think it's fun. That's just it's one of the least classy things that you could put on there next to a Taco Bell KFC combo. I mean, seriously.
He left it at McDonald's.
How can you make it worse? That I just imagine, because he left it there and there was a scramble to find the USB drive. So I just imagine the winches and the knights all scrambling around in their garb. Trying to find a USB drive, just this combination of just stupidity. I don't know if it's real, but it gets really interesting. I did like Jason Schreier's reporting on this, where he's like, hey, here's the report. I'm not going to go into the more saucy details because I don't want to libel and cause problems. So I dig that, at least.
and basically he made a point there. He's like, I'm not going to focus on this, like you just said, and it's hard in 2018 because literally, like, there's a lot of truth to a lot of people say these days, and you find out about some real scumbags. But then there's something like this where it instantly felt off about, like, if you knew about this then and you're only saying it now that you're being sued. I don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, it does bring up the kind of the idea of, are you guilty for hiding it if you knew that he had that? I mean, that makes you guilty by, I mean, it's not guilty by association, but I mean, essentially, yeah, he was hiding, you know. It'd be the same thing like if you found out that someone had like robbed a bank or something and you're like, it's just old Jimbo, you know, robbing banks. Like,
it's just Patrick. I mean, I know that guy. I talk to him once a week. Maybe, I guess I won't turn him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. Oh yeah, he did say something about robbing a bank, and I saw all that money. But like it I don't know. It's just weird, like you said, to come out and not, after not talking about it, to do that. Speaking of people who should shut their mouths, Soulja Boy's come out with another console.
Honestly, he doesn't need to shut his mouth. This is hilarious.
It's hilarious to me to see him
So
like
great.
He's like, oh, I'm not gonna go after Nintendo. I'm gonna go after Sony. I'm gonna sell a Vita clone.
What's funny is that if you look at it, it's a Vita clone, and then like the specs of it are like PSP specs. So it's like a PSP inside of a Vita shell.
Yeah, and he's not talking about the games anymore. Like, that's the only thing that I feel like he took out of this was, oh, I should probably not advertise that all these copywritten games are on here. Other than that, I mean, he's still
Crisis Core on there, because then I'll buy it for $20.
No, there's no way. It's probably going to be a bunch of junk. If there's something on there, it's probably not going to be anything worth anyone's while. But it just cracks me up that, like,
I kind of want to buy one. Just because
you want to add to it.
Just for the effort, you can have my $20.
Like, I think they're like $50, but to me, it's like, okay, do you want to add to it? Do you want to reward him, you know, for...
Yes.
And
the best part, so if you're ever, like, if you go to his website where all of these products are being sold, so there's a knockoff PS Vita, PSP thing. There is a knockoff looking Apple Watch for like $15.
Yep.
There is knockoff AirPods that are like $9.99. Like has the little case and everything. It's fantastic.
It's well, he's
I enjoyed it more just the fact that he is just it's whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fact that he's selling this stuff, and anyone who knows what that, I mean, he's relying on the brand. He's relying on people buying it because he's Soulja Boy. But like, seriously, you can buy this stuff on Amazon. Like, you can just buy exactly what he's selling on Amazon for less than half the price. But then you wouldn't have the fun of the story. You wouldn't have the fun of the story. That's true. And you know, these are going to end up being some collector's items in like 20 years. Sure. That the only question is, how do you know which ones are Soulja Boys and which ones are just whatever the term for the indie. I hope it comes in like some kind of cool box. It probably doesn't with the amount that he's charging for it, but he's got a storefront. There's knockoff so much electronics on there. I like, if we ever want a running series, we should just like buy one product at a time and just test them out and do a Soulja Boy product review. Yeah, I feel like we need to get like a GoFundMe for that, because I don't think I don't want to put my own money towards it. Like, I could, but I just feel weird doing that. Robert in the comments said Crisis Core brings all the men to the yard, and Kevin said he's been waiting for that on PS4 for forever. Actually, that was just me. What's that? That was just me. It was you? Oh, I thought that was Kevin. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah. But yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, we're getting all these ports and remasters and everything, which I personally love. And we did our own kind of discussion about that. By the way, I went back and played, because we were talking about like older games. I went into my Steam library, which I hadn't been in forever, and I actually played Jedi Knight, Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight, and MDK. And yeah, you know what? Yeah, they're older games, but that Star Wars game is still better than like so much other stuff that's coming out. And
I told you about how I was in a Dark Forces 2 gaming clan, right?
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. When I was a kid on the like MSN gaming network thing that they had, I was in a gaming clan for Dark Forces.
Dude, that's
2.
fantastic. I didn't know that. Like I played the heck out of that game.
Back when Star Wars games got released.
Yeah, which brings us to our next topic. EA's canceled the open world Star Wars game. Now, I don't remember. Is this the one that they announced at E3, the Fall of the Republic or whatever? I don't think it was that one.
No, so Jedi Fallen Order is still supposedly coming out in fall of 2019.
Gotcha. I mean, it's irritating because EA's canceled this. They've canceled the I wanted to say Kathleen Kennedy, but it's not Kathleen Kennedy. What's her face?
Amy Hennig.
Amy Hennig's.
Kathleen Kennedy?
I want to say Kathleen Kennedy because like Kathleen Kennedy's doing the executive producing the Star Wars movies, and Amy Hennig's like, you know, was doing the Star Wars.
Former Naughty Dog employee Amy Hennig.
I know. I just had a mental block there, but
yeah.
I feel like EA is doing what EA always does, which is concentrate on product. And when you concentrate on product, you get schlock. You get complete crap games that don't hold up. You don't want some. I mean, to me, it ruins the intellectual property. It ruins the franchise, and eventually you'll make less money. Perfect example is Star Wars Battlefront. I mean, the first game did well. The second game is a better game, and it didn't sell as well as the first because
that was their own fault.
Well, it was because they did a really bad job on the first one, and people said, do I want more of the first one? Not really.
That's not why 2 didn't sell.
That's not why 2 didn't sell?
No.
What?
2 sold, that was when the loot box controversy happened.
That's true.
That was Battlefront 2. The loot box thing destroyed Battlefront 2. I wanted to play a game with you, so EA made a deal for the Star Wars license in 2013. How many games have come out since?
That's a good question.
They acquired that license
since 2002.
No, they've had the license since 2013.
2013. That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing 2 games have come out.
2 games.
Yeah,
you are absolutely right.
2 games.
You already named them: Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2. Since then, we've had Visceral's game, which was codenamed Ragtag. That was Amy Hennig's game that you were talking about. That was canceled. Then this game, they said, some people think it's Amy Hennig's game, and some people think that it was its own game. From what I'm hearing, it was its own game that they might have used some of their assets that were already done. So that was being done by EA Vancouver. That was canceled, and now they've said that EA Vancouver will work on some future Star Wars title. Then we have Respawn working on Jedi Fallen Order, supposedly coming out this year. We have at least seen an E3 trailer on it, but how many E3 trailers of Star Wars games have we seen now? Since then, Montreal, which is there's another EA product there, and then I think they've come out with a couple mobile titles.
Did we actually, I didn't think we got a trailer for that game.
Jedi Fallen Order? I think
we got a weak announcement in the audience of, it's a thing and it's got a name. I didn't think we got any trailer for it though.
No, you're right.
Yeah, we got a weak announcement and Andrea Renee, upon being asked what's the title, and he's like, it's Fallen Order, and she's like, so when does this take place? And I literally was yelling at the screen, like, seriously. She
had to do that.
Did she?
You can't.
Did she?
Yes.
She could have said,
there's plenty of people who don't know anything about Star Wars.
Yeah, and she could have filled them in. Like, I don't know.
No, she's trying to throw it to him to talk about his game. It's not her job to advertise your game for you.
John in the comments, FIFA 82, a Star Wars story.
No, it's just
Boba Fett skins for $5.
I'd buy them too if they would come out with a game that was worth buying them for.
Exactly. I will buy all the DLC. I will buy all the skins. I'm not ashamed of it. If it's a good game.
It makes me upset.
Yeah, it really makes me upset.
I know that the world learned in 2018 that there is such a thing as too much Star Wars. Solo did come out. It's not great. It's okay. It's watchable. It's entertaining.
I thought it was fun. It was fun.
But
it wasn't Empire.
After 8, after 8 was controversial, which after the second viewing of 8, I liked it a lot more than the first time I saw it. 7 is also controversial, but is generally regarded as great. But Solo was kind of that thing, and then there's Battlefront 2 of loot box hell, and there's such a thing as too much Star Wars. Yeah. But we need EA, since they have an exclusivity license, to give me a game.
And a good one. Like, if you can't do it, find someone who can. Like, because there's people who can do, which I won't get on a tangent on this, but I don't know if you saw, like, Disney was trying to shut down a Vader fan film. And they sent, like, a cease and desist. They're like, we own this. We're going to, like, you can't do it. And if you do it, we're going to make money off of it.
Just makes it seem like Disney and Nintendo are a lot alike.
Apparently it's been saved by the Lucasfilm, like, section of Disney, which was like, no, it's a fan film, they're not making money off of it, because you can do whatever you want as long as you're not making money. It's the same thing with, like, cover songs. Like, if you play a cover song of like Beatles or whatever, or Michael Jackson, you don't have to pay the royalties because you're doing your cover of the song. Yeah. Now if you sell it, okay, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's just like why have you ever watched, like, the Harry Potter musicals?
On YouTube. I've heard of it, but I haven't.
Okay, well, they're fun. If you ever have some time, they're on YouTube for free because they have to be. Yeah. They were written by, like, this group in, like, Chicago, I think, and there's 2 or 3 of them, and they're fantastic, hilarious. But they weren't allowed to sell tickets to them. They gave them away in, like, a contest, and then it allowed people to, like, give them money so that they could write a couple of original things. Yeah. But yeah, artistic, whatever. It's, as long as they're not making money off your product, leave them alone.
Exactly. Yeah, Robert in the comments said that the guy gave up and removed it. I'm assuming he's talking about the Vader film. I heard that
bring it back.
I heard that Lucas, like, basically Kathleen Kennedy, like, side of the house was like, no, you can do that, but I'll have to look in. Like, he may have given up because he didn't want to. If you're not crazy rich, you can't afford the time and money to combat a lawsuit, let alone win one. Just to stand up and say, no, this isn't right. Like, that costs you so much money and time. And yeah, no, I won't get political here.
Give me a Star Wars game.
It's not hard.
I just want, like, what? Can I get one Star Wars game, please?
We can get some Switch games. How about
we can.
How about some Switch SNES games? Because that's what allegedly, potentially is gonna come out. And I got the list up here, which has some okay games.
I mean, so this is what it's a part of. If you have your Nintendo Switch and you pay for their online service, which is stupid cheap, I think it's $19.99 for an entire year, and it's not the greatest service in the world or anything. Their servers are still kind of doo-doo, but they also comes with an NES Entertainment app currently that has, I think, I don't know, it's like 10, 20, 30 games. I'd have to look.
Like close to 30. It's fun.
Yeah,
they got some really fun stuff in there.
So homeboy over here data mines this thing and says, hey, looks like they're going to be doing some SNES to your Switch Online service. And this is, so if this does happen, this is just a starter list. Like, there are going to be more.
Well, they've been changing it out, kind of like Netflix, but quicker. Yeah, dude, Turtles in Time is great. See, that's the reason. That is the reason that
yeah, some Star Fox.
Yeah, there's so many good games that could come out on it, and if Nintendo would just let us buy them, they would make so much money. People will rebuy it. I know how many times have you bought Ocarina of Time?
Ocarina?
Yeah,
not that many.
Really?
Okay. I bought Link to the Past like 7 times.
Okay, so how many times have you bought Final Fantasy VII?
A lot.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that as an example, like.
Oh, yeah.
People are going to buy it. I'm going to buy Link to the Past. I will buy Wind Waker again. I will buy all these games again. I wasn't even that big of a Wind Waker fan, but I can play it on the go? Yes. Here's my money. Let me do it. Like, I want to do these things legally, Yeah, I could emulate it because there's people who have cracked the Switch. If you have the older Switch model, like you and I have, actually, you can mod the Switch and play emulated games, play SNES games, play game. I don't know if you can play GameCube, but I know you can play NES, SNES. You can play Sega games on there, but yeah, we're trying to do these things legit. Like, I want to play these things on the go, and I want to give you money for it. Why not?
Yeah, I don't. You know me. I don't do emulation just because I don't want to. Like everything else that involves the computer, once I log off for work, I really don't want to mess with it, and so I don't do emulation either. I want them to provide said service. Me say, here is my credit card. It's a number you know quite well. Feel free to go ahead and zip that thing again, and just give me games. So if this is how they're going to do it, if this is the future of their what do they call it? Virtual console,
or they're not working on
virtual console. Yeah. So if this is the future of virtual console and it's in a package service that's $20 or $20 a year, I will do that because it's fun, and they are also doing some interesting things where they're occasionally allowing like ROM hacks in there, where it's like, here's an easy version or here's a weird version of this game. I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
it'd be cool if they would allow us to like vote, like, hey, what, or give us feedback. What game do you want to come to this service? So, I'd be like, Turtles in Time, please.
Yeah, like everyone talks about like licensing, right? If the money's there, it's going to be okay. I mean, the whole thing about Netflix, and they were going to pull Friends off of Netflix. And,
no, you ain't.
But Netflix was smart enough to realize, if we take out Friends or The Office or some of these shows that people watch that more than anything else, if we take that off, they may cancel their subscription. So they ponied up $100 million.
It was amazing how many people were surprised at that, man. Like, they were just like, you got all these shows and you're keeping Friends, and it's like, Friends is the one getting them the money.
Yeah. Friends is making them. Well, I even thought about it. Like, I was like, I can get the Friends DVDs and the Office DVDs. Like, I can get all of them for under $100, and that would be less than my year of Netflix. Is it worth it to do that? But
then you have to do this thing called get up.
I have to get.
You gotta walk over to that TV.
Yep.
You gotta put first of all, but the thing is that all these shows that Netflix gets, they're great. Like Daredevil season 3 was awesome. It's not surprising that they canceled it since Disney owns it. That's neither here nor there. But I'm only gonna watch Daredevil season 3 once. I know there's plenty of other people that might rewatch it, but I'm gonna rewatch Friends 10 to 15 times a year.
Yeah, we're watching The Office again. I mean,
I'm on Office season 7 right now.
We didn't even. I told you we were going through a palate cleanser because we were doing Office, Parks and Rec, Office, Parks and Rec back and forth.
Yeah.
So we're like, we need to put something in the middle to watch something else, and we got through 7.5 seasons of Dexter, and then Whitney started watching The Office again. Like, we're almost done with Dexter, but after season 4, it's just not very good. But
yeah. No, I've had some of that where it's like, I want to watch a serious show, and then just at some point, there's going to be a point in there where I'm just like, man, you know what? I'm in the mood for Michael Scott to be a dummy. Press play, and then you never watch that dark show again.
Yep.
At least not till next year.
Yeah, so, John said his family watches Friends all the way through a couple times a year when Game of Thrones isn't on. It's true.
Yep.
And then Robert said, I have all the DVDs and the digitals, which I do the same thing. Like, I copy my DVDs into digital so then I can play them off my Xbox because it's cool. And then he's like, yet and still, he's still watching it on Netflix. It's easy. It's still so easy.
Yeah, and have you heard, or not heard, but do you ever use Vudu? Which is Walmart's streaming service?
I don't.
They have a thing where you can scan your DVD UPC and you can give them $2 and they will give you a digital copy of it. And so I've been doing that and getting myself a digital library.
That's not bad. I did recently. I came across something. I should have written it down because this would be a great. I didn't think we'd have this conversation, but I've came across this thing recently where it's an app, because there's apps for everything, and it's an app that's like, okay, if you have digital movies or digital music in multiple places, it homes them all together. So you're like, oh, I've got that on Vudu.
You talking about Movies Anywhere?
Maybe, I don't know that, I can't remember the name of it, but like you sync all your
Movies
accounts
Anywhere.
to it, and then it's like,
It's
oh, I've
Movies
got that on
Anywhere.
Apple. Okay, cool. Because that was my thing about digital purchases of movies. Because like games, I get it. Like I got my PlayStation store, I got my Xbox store, whatever. Movies, it's like I don't want to remember where all my stuff is. Like I just want to do the thing. I just want to play it, which is the reason why we have a bunch of streaming services. Whitney always goes to Netflix because she knows what's there. It's easy. It's convenient. So
Yeah, Movies Anywhere is awesome. I use it now because also every once in a while you'll run across a movie where they're different prices, and so you pick the store that has the cheapest price of the movie, but then
cool.
it still shows up in the Movies Anywhere.
That's like Honey. If you've ever used that, yeah, Honey's really cool. If you don't use that,
I disabled it literally because it bugged me on Amazon, and I'm like, I know what I'm doing, son. Yeah.
On Amazon, yeah, because like you're like, no, I want it in 2 days, or I want it tomorrow. I don't care.
Like you don't even understand. I paid $99.99 for this thing. I want my free shipping.
Oh yeah, dude. I make up like I spend so much money on Amazon because I buy stuff on Amazon instead of going to the store because one, I'm at work and working from home and I'm just like, I can get this in a couple days. Like it saves me a trip to the store. It saves me time. I think I've made up in like a month and a half. I think I make up if they were charging me shipping. I made up for it already. But so I've been playing Celeste actually a good amount, and it's
good time.
And it's really good. It surprises me how much more difficult this game is than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. But it's so good. It's so challenging.
You keep playing it.
I keep playing it. I keep dying over and over. This game frustrates me more than Dark Souls.
Yeah, dude. But I beat it.
You beat it. See, I've beaten all the Dark Souls games. I haven't beaten it yet, but I'm going to. I'm going to beat Celeste. But like, it's so much fun. If you're watching this video, by the way, you're watching me die repeatedly. But it's.
Oh, this is you?
Yeah, this is me. Like it's fun. It's not too repetitive, but I will say the craziest part to me, and the news, by the way, in this is that Celeste's getting some free DLC. But the crazy thing to me, like I was already kind of not frustrated, but like I really wanted to beat these challenges. I was digging it and everything. And I haven't gotten that far, so I'm not going to spoil anything, but like it's the shadow version of yourself or whatever you want, whatever they refer to it as, which I haven't beaten it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
She pops up and when she starts chasing you,
it's great, right?
It was a fantastic, and it was so horribly frustrating and hard. I loved it. Yeah,
because before you figure out that she's following your exact movements, you're like, oh, jerk.
Well, then you end up she's following your movements like a second and a half ahead of you, or behind you or whatever. So you kind of can bait her to go somewhere else, and then you have an opening to go around. Which I figured out, but then there's one section, I think it's the section, not this last one, but the one before it. There's a section that like I was having trouble getting the timing of the boosts, like green boosts, like you had to jump, grab one, like boost, grab one, whatever. It's great though. It's great. If you're not playing Celeste, like, and you like old school platformers, like I highly suggest this game. It's wonderful.
I figured and you say frustration more than a Souls game. For some reason, the fact that there's zero loading time and you're just right back
it's like
at
Super
the beginning of the frame.
Super
which I have now downloaded. Originally, I thought that I wouldn't like Super Meat Boy, and then people were like, "You like Celeste, so why wouldn't you like Super Meat Boy?" And it was on PlayStation Plus. I don't know, maybe a year ago or more, and so I already had it for free. It's $2 on PSN anyway. So if you want a cheaper version of Celeste, you can go get Super Meat Boy. But the fact that they're doing a free DLC and they say it's harder than the B-sides, which you haven't done a B-side, have you?
I have not. I collected a couple, but I haven't done one yet.
So B-side is a harder version of that level. and now they're giving you a free DLC that is apparently harder than the B-side version of the level. So it's for the masochists out there who can't get enough Celeste,
Yep.
which I will not be playing it because do you play it in handheld mode?
Okay, no, I don't play in handheld mode. I'm playing it on Xbox, but like,
Oh, okay.
I can imagine getting frustrated and like twisting the Switch if you're playing in handheld mode. Is that what you're talking about? Like you're putting too much pressure on it?
It's not that it's frustrating. It's that with I loved it in handheld mode because it's a perfect handheld game. But the Joy-Cons, like, they slaughter your thumbs trying to get through that game.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's what the Pro Controller's for. I mean, like,
Yeah.
That being said,
It is.
as much as I
Stubborn.
love the Pro Controller, as much as I talk about it all the time, I play in handheld mode more than anything else now. Like, it's just super convenient. It is super convenient. And if I'm docked, I could be playing something else. And it's not that I value the Switch games less, but if I'm docking it, there's a lot of other games that I would, rather be playing, possibly. But either way,
it's a handheld system. The only time it gets docked is for Smash.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's just because I'll be playing it with other people.
Yeah.
But cool for those Celeste fans, including me. I'll download it. I will not play it because it will be too much for my hands.
What I am going to be playing, though, is some Blackout. Finally.
Yeah!
That's going to be free. I had to check out the date on that. I thought I pulled it up. But Blackout's going to be free for a week. For free trial this week. So grab it right now. Begins today.
Today,
Yep.
Junior.
So I'm going to grab it. I'm going to play it. I've been wanting to play it. I've heard it's great. So
You gonna grab it on PlayStation?
yeah, I'll grab it on PlayStation. See if we can sync up.
Maybe one of the weekdays.
One of the weekdays. I think that'll work perfect. Like maybe Monday or something. Yeah, I'll figure that out. So we'll tweet out and let you know that we're doing that, and we'll watch the chat, and you guys can laugh at how bad we are at that. Because I'm not great at these stuff, but.
If this is if this ends up being, I know that they're just trying to sell it, but if the idea if the idea is that Blackout specifically is free for this week, just like we were talking in last week's show, where games like Blackout and Overwatch going free to play, and if this is them kind of testing it to see how many people will try their mode for free, that's a really good idea on Activision's part.
I think there's a good possibility that they'll move to it. I don't know if they will, but I think it's a good possibility at least. I think that it makes sense if they're able to, profit off of profit off of loot boxes or skins or what have you. I honestly don't even know what system they have in there, but yeah, if there's a way that they can profit off that, I'm fine with it.
And as we've seen from Activision split from Bungie, they all about the profit. So
they are about the profit. You know who else is about the profit? GameStop.
Not according to their sales earnings. Hey,
well, I think that's because they're too concentrating on the profit. But it looks like there's an incoming buyout of GameStop. Don't know if it's going to happen. It's possibly finalized next month. But
they lost $500 million in 1 quarter.
Yeah.
So this is reporting that their third quarter loss for last year was $488 million. What? Then why would anybody buy this? What are they hoping to get out of the GameStop brand that they don't see that the fact that they lost $500 million in 1 quarter? Like, what can you do with this company where you're like, I'm gonna turn it around?
Well, my question is, they're buying GameStop, but ThinkGeek is owned by the same parent company. So
sure.
Are we talking about selling GameStop's the GameStop license, if you will? We're talking about selling that brand off, which is what it sounds like. ThinkGeek is not mentioned anywhere in this, and they're owned by the same company. So
I thought ThinkGeek was owned by GameStop.
I thought it was the other. I thought there was a parent company that owned them.
It could be.
We have to double check that. But if ThinkGeek is owned by GameStop, that's the reason for this, because the ThinkGeek stores are fun. They got cool stuff in them. Usually something for everybody there. Yeah, I mean, because GameStop, the only thing that I like about GameStop is I can go grab like a used game for really cheap, but I can do that at local stores. I can do that on eBay. I can do that on Amazon.
It's not that I would diss buying those either. Like, I get that it still has a market in terms of buying used games, because there's people that aren't us that, you know, don't have full-time adult jobs that can't pay for games. But I stopped shopping there as soon as I turned, I don't know, like 24, 25, and I had a job where it's like, okay, I can now give the developers my money. I don't need to go to GameStop anymore after being ripped off for like the 100th time on my trade-ins.
I will say that's the only negative that I have, and I get that they're trying to make it's the ongoing joke about GameStop.
They're making money.
They're making money, and like I get that, but like it's the ongoing joke of, you know, of like you buy a game and then you try to sell it back to them and you're like, all right, $20 or whatever. Like I regret selling some stuff to them because I feel like the money that I got back was not worth not having what I sold. The biggest one to me was I sold my Xbox 360 because I was like, well, I got my Xbox One and it plays all the Xbox 360 games, or it plays a lot of them.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, well, it doesn't play Guitar Hero and those kind of things. So if I want to play something like that, I don't have it on hand. And I don't know. The wife and I really liked playing those games. Like, I don't know if you got into them at all, but
I mean, you know, as much as the next person in high school on the PS2, I played it a little bit, but the rhythm games have never especially been my thing.
They've always been my thing. Ever since
there's occasionally like Parappa's a good example. Amplitude, I love that game. There's something about like actually acting like I'm playing now. Like, no, I just want to press like circle, square, cross, triangle. Like, I don't need. You don't need any fancy peripherals. Yeah, like I don't need to go DDR on this stuff. I don't need to move my feet. I'm playing a video game here. Like, let's call that what it is, and give me the controller.
I get it. But yeah,
but you know, put good music in it.
And you're right. You're right. By the way, so ThinkGeek is owned by GeekNet, a unit of GameStop. So you are correct. I assume then
that you'd be able that you would get the whole package. This article says that they did okay. Like, the console sales are up in terms of actual hardware, and that they're being helped by certain titles. I think that the issue with GameStop lies is that they buy everything. They need to stop buying everything. They just need, like, they should just make it a habit of like, I'm gonna buy Red Dead, Spider-Man. That's it for now. Like, Horizon's like 2 years old. We're cutting it off, or something like that. Just make it where they do deal in just the big titles, and maybe stop buying all the useless crap that we complain that they're giving us 25 cents for.
Yeah, I think part of it is that I think that it becomes an issue of trying to move that much, that much merchandise. How do you move that much merchandise? And the way that they do it is they do regular sales of like buy two get one free and all these different things to try to get more merchandise off. If you look at the sales that they when they do that, it's never the stuff that you want. The reason is because they want someone to come in and clear out their shelves. Because they have way too much. Someone comes in and gives them like 30 or 40 games. They need to find 30 or 40 people to then buy them. Because usually people don't come in there and buy 30 or 40 games when they walk into GameStop. That's the problem.
Well, and they do those crazy trade-in deals like once a year. So, like, you hear about them a couple times a year where there will be some lack in their trade-in system where they're like taking double or triple of something. And I literally know people personally who would go to Best Buy then, buy games using their Best Buy, whatever it's called, Robert can correct me, the Game Pass thing that they have, buy those games that were on sale, then take them over to GameStop and trade in those games, then get double the credit, then put that towards a console, and where the idea is that GameStop's trying to get you in the door so that you'll put money down, there's the people who are cleverly thinking about it and being like, no, we're just going to rip you off.
Yeah, one of my friends did something similar. Nebraska Furniture Mart, because if you haven't been there, they have games, they have a lot of stuff.
Furnished my house with.
Yeah, basically. They had a bunch of games on sale, and my friend posted on Facebook, he was like, come grab these, because GameStop is doing their double buybacks, so you're going to get $2 or $3 per game. So he walked out with, an obscene amount of games. I think it was like 70 or 80 games like in his cart, and then he went over to GameStop, and he sold those games to GameStop, and he bought, I can't remember if he bought an Xbox or what he bought with it, but either way, like you roll it into a console and then you get out. Yeah. But it is classic though. Get them in the door and then try to sell money. Try to sell them on something else. But
apparently it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work always. Anyways, that's it for the news really this week. Let us know in the comments what you think about GameStop. Do you think that it's worth it to buy them for the Think Geek property, or do you think that it's another fumble, like they're trying to sell tablets? They're trying to sell phones and tablets.
Are they going to be tablets in the shape of pyramids?
Oh, jeez.
Thanks for watching This Week in Our Collective Heads. Subscribe over here and click the bell, and that way you'll know about any new videos that we put up, because we put up a lot of gameplay, a lot of stories from games and stuff like that, and gameplay is down here.
Yeah, and you got more editorials and news stuff down here. Check it out.